Ladies and gentlemen at home, we're getting everybody seated. We'll be getting started in just one moment. Thank you for your patience. Yeah.
Yep.
So you, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get things underway. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for the 2021 annual meeting here at Westwood Country Club. I'd like to hand things off to President Reynolds, who's going to get our presentation underway this evening. Thank you.
All right, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So the first action that I'm going to do is I'm going to take out my phone and I'm going to delete Brian Stone from my number 4 frequent caller list after Stacy, Brooke, and Brandon. So whoever's next president will probably put his call on, because you'll get a lot of calls from Brian Stone. So I say good luck. It is my privilege and honor to open up our annual meeting. I'm happy to report that we do have a quorum with 68% of the voting members participating either in person or by proxy. The format for tonight will be a very brief president's report, followed by Brian Stone with a general manager's report, much more articulate, and then his wonderful management team will provide updates. After which we'll open up for questions and answers, and then we'll report on the election results. So, as president, I am happy to be looking in the rearview mirror, but will tell you that this is Westwood's time. We started in January on a cold day with everyone in this room, with management and the board. And I asked everyone to read a book called Why? Why are we here as a club for members, guests, and families, and staff and team? My answer tonight is Westwood's time. The results are just unbelievable. So let me just begin. We have 115 people on the wait list. We have an operational surplus greater than we've had in many, many years. No assessments, initiations due to the team of the membership committee. Britt Bowers is not here, but the whole membership. Where's Mike McNaughty and Phil? Please raise your hands. I mean, guys, great job. Anybody? On the finance, John Wallace, where are you, bud? John is here. The finance committee had a great year. I will say this: refinanced the loan, and I saw Andy Peden here with John Marshall Bank. John Marshall Bank was both aggressive and generous with an unbelievable rate. We bank a lot of clubs around the area, but I'll tell you that it is a fantastic rate for 12 years for this club. Why they did it? Because they knew about the financial strength and, more importantly, the opportunity where we're located with waiting lists. This is a fantastic club. And to the finance committee and John Wallace and to John Marshall Bank, thank you very much for a great refinance. And it is Westwood's time. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the board of directors, Terry and John Wallace. You guys put up with me, crazy Kevin at times, and I will say this: that there were times that we disagreed, but at the end of the day, what happened in the boardroom stayed in the boardroom. To the first and second year classmates, you guys were fantastic. Each of you in so many ways contributed to the success of Westwood. Yes, we fought. Yes, we had disagreements, but at the end of the day, we had one thing. That was Westwood. It is Westwood's time. So, culture, for me, is a big deal. So, we talked about being a great club. And obviously, in the world that we live in, there are changing cultures, dynamics, perspectives. And yes, we always have to be better. We have to be better as a club for our families. We have to be welcoming and inclusive. And through the initiatives of a lot of people, we've driven an effort around being more inclusive. And so I'm proud to say at the last board meeting, we created a task force around governance and inclusion. So what does that mean? That means to embrace change where it's appropriate with the confines of Westwood. For Westwood, by Westwood, to make Westwood a better place. We have 115 new family members. We have to make our club better. So this task force is going to be led by Chairperson Sally Jean Penna, Jim Holcroft, 3, including myself, past presidents, but also a number of folks that really care about what this is such a wonderful club. So I'm excited about that. The narrative will be confined to looking at governance, bylaws, protocols, processes, and hopefully come back to the membership. So I will ask for the future board to really embrace what governance inclusion means, again, on behalf of Westwood. So you'll hear from Brian about long range 1 and 2. We're spending $15 million on this campus for the improvements of this wonderful club. Pretty amazing. And you're going to see a video of the putting green. And I'm sorry to steal David's thunder, but the pain is going to be worth it. I mean, for those of us that have been over there and watched the framework of the new court tennis, freaking amazing. And when it's done, we're going to have a world-class facility that's truly international. And I was with J.R. Modes earlier, and I've had the privilege of meeting the president from England, the head of the Preservation Society of Court Tennis. And this is a truly international, and we'll be the only club in the metropolitan area for court tennis. And we will have reciprocity in courts around the country. But also, we're going to have a chance to embrace a new group of members to the Westwood family. Yes, they'll have access to court tennis and the clubhouse facilities, but this is going to be exciting. These are folks that we will all be proud of. And I tell you, in a short order, we'll look back and say, court tennis, fantastic. And I need to do a shout out to Dr. Bob Hines. Bob was president. Raise your hand. Oh. So on a Sunday night, he called a special meeting. He said, listen, we have a chance to do this court tennis. And it was wacky. I mean, most of us felt this was so far afield, but yet, you know what? We said, we have to look at ambitious, bodacious ideas. The court tennis team has met with our construction team every Thursday. They have donated $3.9 million of resources. So we have a world-class facility. So to JR and Chris and everyone from the court tennis. And for those of you, I may even put on my tennis whites and play court tennis against Bob Hines. I have to comment a little bit about Beacon Hill. There's a number of you that I've had meaningful, constructive, and sometimes argumentative discussions about Beacon Hill. Beacon Hill was an opportunity that both management and the board and I felt we needed to bring to you. It was approved by 60%, but not by financial commitments. The timing stunk. We agree. It was a distraction for our projects, long range 1 and 2. But what I will say to you is that for future boards, think about big, bold ideas because we have to move the club forward. Clubs with 2 golf course amenities, both we're urban with 15 or 20 million square feet, literally walking distance from us. We have to think about big ideas. We have to think about this plant, but thinking about the amenity. Compaction perhaps was not the right idea, but it was amenity and portfolio expansion. It's a big deal. So on the shoulders of 3 great presidents that I look back on that I've had the privilege of working with, John Martin, Andy Pete, and Bob Himes, I say thank you. To the board that I worked so closely with, and I asked you guys to do so much work. I'm grateful to you. I wasn't perfect, but I had one idea: to make Westwood better because it's Westwood's time. So at this point, I'll ask Brian Stone to come on up and comment. Actually, I think I've missed something, haven't I? So I've missed the, where's Phil Weldy? Phil Weldy, stand up. Don't be bashful. So who has in their company worked on mission, vision, and core values? It's a pain in the ass. Because you know what? It's hard. But when we talk about culture, it's a big deal. Core values mean a lot. So this is not, it's not done. But Phil, thanks to Tammy Alaria, thanks to Danny Hughes, thanks to Brian, the board of directors, Susan LaRocca, and so many others. So this is a draft of our mission, vision, and core values. You know what? At the end of the day, you have to have an outcome. It's Westwood's time. So we look at this, and I would challenge the next board of governors. Let's get this done. Let's put a stake in this. So thank you. So caring and culture, 3 departures. A notable, actually 4. That I want to just highlight real quick. One is my friend Joni Hanna, 25 years director of tennis. That's a big deal. That talks about longevity, caring, commitment. In fact, this is a pretty good place to work. I think it's Westwood's time, and we're excited about I saw where's Ralph Nappy and the folks and Scott, Melville, and others that are working on the search committee. They're down to the bottom. Mike Fisher, I had the privilege of being with last week. After 37 years, 37 years, fantastic. And he's at the beach. I think about Mike Moore. Mike Moore, someone that we've worked with for a number of years, but you know what? It's a time. And so I just want to welcome, I know Brian will do a better job, but Kathy Puker's our new CFO. I've had the privilege of working with Kathy at another club. So Kathy, welcome to the Westwood family. I mean, someone who didn't have a big title at Westwood, but he had a big heart. Everybody knew Chad Wilkerson. You know what? Chad is the reason that you love this family club and why we say it's Westwood's time. Chad's gone on to bigger and better things as he should have, but you know what? The legacy of people like Chad Wilkerson and the staff and team at Westwood make this truly really a great place. So I think I've covered most of my points. So I'm gonna ask Brian Stone to come up. I will say this, that the board approved and Brian accepted a 3-year extension to his contract. So why is that a big deal? Continuity of leadership, communication, one point of contact is critical. During the COVID, how many emails did we get talking about a fellow member, staff member that had COVID? But you know what? He brought transparency, honesty, and a commitment to communicating. And you know what, Brian? It's been grateful working with you. Brian Stone.
Thank you very much, President Reynolds. Appreciate all of you being with us tonight, and for those of you at home virtually on Zoom, thrilled to have great attendance for this important meeting, and so much to share, and certainly, to start out by thanking the board members who are coming off of the board this year. I arrived here at Westwood in July of 2019, and so these three individuals are the only folks I've had the privilege of working with throughout my entire tenure at the club. And so to John Wallace, incredible working with you, the perfect man for the job at the perfect time to make things happen, like refinancing club debt, like pursuing court tennis and exploring the opportunities at Beacon Hill. So thank you, John, for that. To Terry Clark, who served as legal counsel and also psychological counselor to the general manager on more than one occasion. I can't tell you how much I'll miss having you in that room. You're the man. I appreciate you. We fought a lot of good fights together and helped to make this club a better place. I'm confident of that. And to President Reynolds, dating back to sitting in that interview room in the cup room, I can't think of a more positive person to be around in any capacity in life, frankly, but certainly when you're trying to navigate a pandemic at a private country club, the type of board president that you want by your side. I sincerely appreciate everything you've done for me and for this club. Thank you. And of course, the remaining 6 board members moving forward, I couldn't be more excited about what's to come. We are in the process of so many amazing improvements and progression and exciting times for Westwood, and thrilled to be working with all of you again next year. Wanted to review our organizational chart, and Mr. Reynolds mentioned this, stealing my thunder already as his last order, President. This is impossible to read, so I'm going to tell you a couple of highlights. But you've already mentioned Mike Moore, who admittedly was my right-hand man in the front office there, and a brilliant CFO. Wish him all the best in his new adventures at RTJ. But his successor, Kathy Bucher, stand up, Kathy, and turn to the room here, Miss Kathy. Kathy spent 3 years as the CFO of Washington Golf and Country Club, working for a friend of mine, Patrick Toby, the general manager, who had glowing comments about his time working with you. We're thrilled to have you as part of our team. So welcome to Westwood. 2 other department heads, one transition that Mr. Reynolds mentioned as well. And the other is Chuck Crocker, who's not leaving our team. And thank goodness for that, because Chuck could not be a better ambassador for the culture that is Westwood. Again, another positive and welcoming face at the front of the fitness center. But he's going to be stepping back into more of a role like that, greeting, front desk, ambassador, helping with all the new fitness center and new equipment. But we have now found his successor in a young woman named Trisha Conley, who is coming to us as Assistant Director of Fitness at Washington Golf, as our new Director of Fitness. She'll be starting December 6th. You'll see an official announcement to that effect. We went through an extensive hiring process with a committee of phenomenal members who volunteered their time and energy to take a list of 86 applicants down to 3 finalists and ultimately decide on Trisha Conley. So thrilled to have her join our team as well. And then lastly, in the Director of Tennis and Racket Sports capacity, equally important hire, and another great committee of individuals led by Scott Melville as the Pool Tennis Fitness Committee Chair, and Eric Joseph, Chair of the Hiring Committee. Working with me, we've narrowed that list down also to 3 finalists and hope to be naming that person in the next 2 weeks. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, you've all seen the communication that came out. Terrence Killen, who's our head tennis professional, will be moving on to a different opportunity. Again, Terrence is a class act. He's an incredible professional and did a tremendous job as our interim director. We wish him all the best in his future. Moving on to the next slide, please. Long-range plan. This has been an unbelievable process. I'm so privileged to have been a part of this. And I can tell you without question, we'll get to this in just a minute. There's a committee of construction committee member volunteers. I cannot fathom having gone through this without them. Their industry knowledge and expertise, the history of this long-range plan and how it came to be. But some really awesome pictures here of what's to come. I'm thrilled to share that we are still very much on time and on budget. Long-range plan phase 1, which is the clubhouse improvements, expansion, and renovation for first quarter of 2022. I'm not getting any more detailed than that at the moment, but we are moving right along. these pictures. You can see the simulator bar in the top left and the bottom left, different angles from the sim bar. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous. The millwork package is beautiful. 3 full-size, full-swing simulators. Second images, top and bottom in the middle, are the fitness lobby. Beautiful millwork, retail check-in, and front desk space. And then down below is the primary space for that fitness center. For any of you who have had a chance to walk through, that image doesn't do it any justice how large that space really is. We couldn't be more thrilled to get in there. And then the staircase coming up from the lower lot up to the upper banquet areas. Moving on here, you've got the steel framing for the pre-engineered metal building of the racket facility. I like that. Crystal's moving me along here. Beautiful structure coming into, and the fascia from that will be part of the view from up on our new event terrace, which is gorgeous as well. If you can move forward for me, Crystal, one more time. The individuals I mentioned earlier, Josh Ferrazzo of HIT Contracting, one of our Board of Governors nominees, John Martin, who as 3-term president was obviously integral in getting this put forth and then approved, and has been so helpful in keeping us on track for what this was meant to be, and that is exceptional amenities that our members will be proud of. Mr. Martin, I appreciate you sincerely. Bobby Rux, again, another expert in the construction field, who really made sure that everything about this, again, stayed on time, on budget, and with an exceptional result. And then our superintendent, David McGregor, the amount of time and energy you've put in, David, beyond all your incredible efforts to keep our golf course in premier tournament condition. Thank you very much for all that you've done. John Motes, I think I saw John eating dinner earlier. John came to us with his brother Chris, obviously, to talk about this opportunity. I don't know what now, a year and a half ago, back when we thought, what in the hell is court tennis? And YouTubed it quickly. But it came from that to a brilliant idea, a great plan. And I think 38 weeks in a row, John's been at every construction committee meeting, not just talking about court tennis, but supporting the total initiative. So thank you. Sincerely appreciate it. So Finance Committee, want to obviously thank the members of the Finance Committee, our chair and co-chair, John Wallace and Bill Doyle. And then all of the members of that committee, a unique year to say the least, to be in that position, starting out with a budget that was extremely difficult, to know what was in front of us with the pandemic and the restrictions and the impact that that had. But to all of these folks, thank you so much for your time and energy on the Finance Committee. We'll share some numbers tonight. One that I'm most proud of is the position of this club with operating cash. And Mr. Reynolds talked about it's Westwood's time, and part of that is the strength of our numbers. Our ability to refinance that debt is because of how well positioned we are as a club and in the market in general. Obviously, some of this cash improvement is related to the continued accumulation of funds from the Phase 1 member investments. But if you look back to shortly after my arrival there in September of 2019, we were just over $1 million in operating cash. Since that time, we've more than doubled that amount. And more importantly, in the 5-year cash flow forecast, we will maintain levels of $2.5 million or more. So really excited about the position of the club moving forward. Operational budget for 2022. Speaking of daunting tasks, trying to understand what's going to happen with the pandemic, primarily the impact on this room right here, our ability to host large private events and drive significant revenue to a really important part of our club is still very much up in the air. Additionally, we're setting up to open 20,000 square feet of new amenities that obviously require different labor and support, staffing to help us execute this plan. And so creating that budget was a challenge, but we do believe, as you can see here in the bottom of the 2022 budget, a net income of essentially a break-even position. If you look back at the history of the last 2 years, the $120,000 subsidy in 2020, a direct result of the COVID pandemic and the impact on total revenue. Those revenue dollars of just over 10 million is the least we've seen in a long, long time at this club, but certainly a result of the pandemic. A nice jump in 2021, and we'll talk about some key performance indicators in a minute. And that 720,000 is a phenomenal position for the club. Admittedly, a significant portion of that is related to the employee tax credits that the club was able to take advantage of, because we were impacted directly in private event business. Anytime that a legislative act resulted in your inability to produce traditional revenues, in our case, the loss of more than $1.8 million in private event revenue in this ballroom, we're eligible for these employer tax credits to help us keep our staff in place, and we did that. I'll talk more about that momentarily. So key performance. So as you look back at how we were able to achieve those things, Britt Bowers, our membership director, and the membership committee have had their hands full, to say the least. And what you look at here is a progression from 2019 initiation fees, which quite frankly were really strong at over $2 million, going well up over $3 million, and now $3.6 million in incoming initiation fees. The dues line continued to progress along that same timeline. One that I'm very proud of is the a la carte business. You look at prior to pandemic, 2.436 million in member dining. This is not private event related. A huge dip down to 1.7 million when we were really reliant on to-go orders and pandemic protocol. We reached that level and then some in a la carte dining, and Amir will talk a little bit more about that in a bit. Private event revenue, as you can see, is the last to come back, but I give Janie Matheson all the credit in the world for her effort, her energy, staying power along the lines. And if you think it's easy to manage 567,000 in private event revenue, remember that at least 5 times that much was planned, canceled, planned, canceled, planned, canceled. It's been a brutal time. So thank you very much for your patience. We're so glad that you're sticking with us here. Also, I'm excited to say that when you look at fiscal year 2021 at 567,000 in private event revenue, we just did 200,000 in the month of October. So we're on the up and up. Way to go, Janie. Awesome job. With that comes food costs. When you lose private events revenue, which is where the vast majority of our margins are, your cost of goods go up. The reason for that, we want to protect member value. We're interested in pursuing new relationships with local purveyors to get better quality products to our members on the plates. Beverage cost of goods, the Westwood pour, that's the end of that. I think it's gotten bigger somehow. Greens fees and outings, obviously a big dip as COVID set in. And again, Janie doing a phenomenal job of recovering that business. I will say we understand that as of the rescheduling of many of those events, we had an awful string there where every Monday had a private event here, and we won't allow that to happen moving forward. It was very much an accommodation for the nature of a rescheduled COVID cancellation private events on Mondays, tournaments on Mondays. And then cart fees, there's a dip there. I'm not able to see this by my box. From 321,000 back in 2019. I attribute a great bit of that to the craze of walking the golf course during COVID. Also, the gas carts are horrific, and we're really, really excited for that new fleet coming this spring. All right, next slide, please. Capital expenditures. This is a highlight. We were able, through the incredible success of the initiation fees collected from member sales, to invest substantially more in capital improvements. So $850,000 in 2021 was invested. And obviously you can see that's the most that has been reinvested in the club and club assets in the last 4 years. That's exclusive of the long range plan. Next slide. This is going to be a list of capital expenditures that have taken place 2020, 2021, and what's planned, obviously tentatively for 2022. That dollar amount is $922,000 in capital improvement projects exclusive of the long range plan. But obviously completion of long range plan phase 1 and 2, $450,000 golf cart fleet. It's going to be spectacular. The envy of all of our peers. And so I'll remind you though, that all of this is part of our 10-year capital plan. Mike and I have worked hard over the last few years with the finance committee and long range planning committee to talk beyond 1 year, beyond 3 years. What does 10 years look like for Westwood, and how do we prepare ourselves for long-term success? However, all of these items go through the protocol of committee proposal, finance committee approval, board ratification before management brings it to fruition. So great system of checks and balances to be sure we're taking care of all of our members' needs. Thank you. So I mentioned this briefly earlier, and I'll touch on it quickly before we move on. The COVID situation has been obviously brutal for everyone across the world, frankly. And the hospitality business was hit hard, and our employees were hit hard. I think back to March of 2020, we were down to 39 employees at Westwood at one point. This July, we hit 254 employees, and we're not going back. So thrilled to have survived that craze. Let's all do our part to be responsible and keep things under control so we can move forward together. and put this terrible situation behind us. But nothing makes me more proud than getting all of our incredible team members back in place here at the club. I want to remind everyone to volunteer for committees. We're so appreciative of the 6 individuals who ended up on our slate for board candidacy this year, but also remind you that the volunteering for committees, we have a number of them, and we need all of your help and guidance. So like we did last year, we're not going to do manual sheets for signups tonight. We're going to send out an email communication. You'll be able to click on a survey link. It allows you to put your name, contact information, and any of the committees that you're interested in serving on, along with a brief statement about why you think you'd be a good fit for that committee. Once our new executive committee establishes committee chairs for the 2022 year, those individuals will start reaching out and placing all of our committee members. So in advance of that, thank you so much to all of the committee members who have taken part on those committees this year and moving forward. Membership report to the membership committee. Again, forgetting about the incredible volume and the amount of communication and marketing that it's taken to get to this place. Interviews. We've got new protocol in place to be more aggressive, to be more selective and exclusive to some extent with the members that we're inviting to our club. It's no longer about what can Westwood do for you. What do you bring to our club as a new member? What are you going to do to make Westwood a better place with your presence and your membership? We're thrilled that you're here, and we want to be a better club for it. So to all of these folks, Chairman Mr. Weldy, Co-Chair Mike Magnotti, gentlemen, thank you very much for leading that initiative and for the things that we've accomplished, which I'll touch on momentarily. But also, these individuals on the membership committee are the ones who conduct those interviews. And when you have 115 people join your club, that is a full-time job. And so thank you to all of those folks as well. So Mr. Reynolds touched on this, 115 individuals on a wait list to join our club at this point. One of the most important parts about that is we obviously saw the challenge of continuing a wait list with any type of limited access or activity at the club. So we've established the category that has 0 access to our facilities, but still incorporates a $20,000 initiation deposit. Half of that is refundable should you choose to leave the club prior to being accepted to membership. Half of it is not. From that, we've already recognized $366,000 in initiation fee revenue from people who have yet to set foot in this club. And I think it speaks volumes about who we are and how desirable this club is to be a part of. So outstanding there. Eliminated the associate golf category. I think that category was important and it served a purpose to bring young people to our club. But obviously with the demand, the interest, we continue to see young people come to our club without the need for more aggressive initiation discounting or programs of that nature. So that is no longer. In fact, we increased the initiation fees, not just for associate and eliminating associate, but for all of our club to where we're now approaching $90,000 for full golf initiation. Instituted the new member orientation. So it became obvious that with this volume, we needed to do as much as we could to help control and guide and welcome these new folks to understand more about rules and policies, expectations, procedures, and the core values of this club, the requirements and actions that it takes to be a member and a productive member of this club. So we've got about a 1-hour PowerPoint presentation with all of our department heads that welcomes them and provides some of that information. Golf etiquette guideline. A repeat comment was a lot of the new folks don't understand the basic rules of etiquette on the golf course or aren't necessarily as exposed to that in their history at a club. Maybe this is their first club. So Matt worked with the golf committee and created a list of 10 commandments, if you will. And those are signed and put in their folders when every new member joins this club. We thought that was important. How do you enter bunkers? How do you replace divots? What do you do with ball marks on the greens? So really appreciative of that as well. New prospective interview process I touched on a minute ago. What can you do for Westwood? Not what can Westwood do for you? And then again, looking forward to this spring, May, June, as we approach the completion of the Phase 2 racket facility project, welcoming our friends and our partners at the Court Tennis Preservation Foundation, 30 of which will be full social members of our club. As I think all of you know, we have frozen that category for the last 6 months to allow those numbers to dwindle down so that when we welcome our 30 new friends and partners, that we're still at a very respectable level to the social cap of 250. Next slide, please. So, I'm going to welcome up Matt Gallagher, and can't say enough about Matt. I think as a fellow PGA professional, I have so much respect for what you do for our members, for this club. It's been an incredible run, and you and your team should be really proud of everything you've done. So please take it away.
Thank you, Brian. I'm glad I can give you a break from all that talking. So get a drink of water because we're going to be back up here again, talking even more. Thank you all for being here tonight. Such a great event we look forward to every year. About the golf committee, Terry Clark. Where are you hiding, Terry? I love you, buddy. Thank you so much. 2 years, I'm sure it felt like 4 years. We did deal with a lot, but thank you. And you are not allowed to delete my number from your phone like Kevin's deleting Brian's. That's all I got to say. Phil Weldy, our co-chair, also was the chair of the 3-day member guest committee. Phil is actually the one who created the 10 commandments. Phil, where are you? There you are. He's the one that spearheaded the 10 commandments of being part of membership and golf. So thank you for that. That's wonderful. And to the rest of the committee, you know, in my mind, a great committee is someone who comes in representing their constituents, but when it comes to make decisions, they think about the best interests of the entire club. And I really felt that's what we had in the committee this year. So for the rest of the committee, I applaud them as well because they did a great job. But a lot of tough situations. So speaking of COVID and everything we went on the last couple of years, I felt we went almost 17 months without golf tournaments. A lot of open play, a lot of play in 2020. Subsided a little bit this year. But then we jammed about 9 months of golf tournaments in 5 months, as we all saw on the golf course. But part of that was running two, not one, but two 3-day member guests. And I'd be remiss if I didn't thank, I ran 4 member guests here at Westwood in my 4 years I've been here, and Sam Misla, Debbie Ehrman, Steve Fogel, and Pat Cunningham were on the committee every time. And I thank you so much. And I know Sam's been doing it well over 20 years, so thank you. As Kevin keeps saying, it's Westwood's time. And there is a true buzz about Westwood in the golfing community. And a big part of that is because of some of the events we host here at Westwood. And we've started hosting the last few years. This year, I was so proud because we hosted the most important event to us PGA professionals, and that's our Mid-Atlantic PGA Section Championship. And all of my fellow pros got to come to Westwood and see what I see every day. And there is a true buzz, and the reputation of Westwood is tremendous right now. And a lot of it is because of these events that we're running. And I'm so proud that we got to host it. And I will just keep it in this room and the people at home, I guess. We co-hosted that with Riverbend this year. And they're already begging Westwood to host it by themselves in 3 years. I'm just saying. No one repeat that though. As we all knew, we were under construction, and I know we referenced David's little slideshow that's coming up. We're going to get brought back to when we started, and we lived in a world of dirt, especially in golf. I swear every day it was a call to David is what hole we're starting on and how do I get there? Because there's trenches and dirt between us and the first tee. The gas golf carts that Brian mentioned, they'll be gone very soon, I promise. But the staff had to negotiate a lot of things with construction this year. Our bag room facility was at the pool, and it was in trailers. Now it's down back at David's area. So we had to deal with a lot, but my staff smiled through it, fought through it, and I think we did a good job getting through all of that construction this year. So I'm very excited. My staff keeps talking about we can't wait to spoil the members next year with all the things we can do with our clean new facility. So we're very excited. And everyone knows with the pandemic, there's been supply chain issues everywhere. But despite that, we had a record year in the golf shop, the most sales ever in the history of Westwood. So we're very, very proud. My favorite slide of the night, without a doubt, my team up there. As Kevin mentioned a few weeks ago, we celebrated Mike Fisher in 37 years. We speak a lot about culture. We speak a lot about family. And anyone who was in that room truly felt it that night. And there's such a bond, not only between staff, but between staff and the members. And that was truly a special night. And it wasn't just for Mike. It was truly celebrating the entire culture at Westwood. And I was so proud to be a part of that. And we celebrate Mike because he's as good as it gets. And sadly, but happy for him, we are retiring one more person this year, and that's Marty O'Rear. I know some of you know that already. Marty being a true gentleman. He made that decision well over a year ago. We actually had a conversation about 2 years about him possibly retiring. And he did not want to steal any thunder from his good friend, Mike Fisher, because 37 years is a long time. And Marty is a true gentleman, and I'm so proud of him for doing that. I mean, it's his good friend, and he wanted Mike to be in the limelight. And now over the next, he will probably not go into next year, but we don't have a specific date yet, but over the next 3-4 months, we're going to celebrate Marty. So please be on the lookout for that, because he's been such a great part of Westwood. So here's Marty. And for me, thank you for letting me be part of your family, and we're going to continue great things in golf. So next up, my good friend, David McGregor. Come on up.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Matthew. First of all, the grounds committee, thank you to everyone who's been on the grounds committee. The support that we get on grounds is sometimes quite challenging because everybody has their different views, but the support we get from the grounds committee is incredible. So thank you, everybody who has served. And Terry Clark, where is he again? He had a really busy couple of years. And you picked a good 2 years to be grounds committee. We went through COVID and we had the raised cups of different flags and the different no divot bottles, and we had some tough conversations, but without your help, your guidance, your leadership, we probably wouldn't be here as happy as we are. So we appreciate you. Thank you. So out on the golf course, I just kind of touched on it. It's great to get back to some kind of normalcy and have regular days and see regular play. Of course, we're playing a lot of golf, but being able to use the golf course as it is intended, having divot balls back out there, using golf carts, this is what we like to see. There's a lot of work for us, but we really enjoy it. Matt talked about the amount of events we have. We love tournaments. We love seeing other people come to the club. We love hosting other golf professionals, the superintendents, any of your friends and guests from around the country. We love hosting these events. That's the part of the job we really, really enjoy, is showing off Westwood. So this fall wasn't exactly that fun because there was an event every single day for about 6 months, but next year we will be able to enjoy them even more. But this year was really about projects. And as you can see, the old putting green that we love, that was wonderful, and our new putting green is even better. And I'm going to get Crystal to start the next slide, and I'm going to keep talking, but this is a time lapse of the putting green. And so it's a really, really cool video. You'll see us starting it twice. But what this project has done is the whole back of the clubhouse. If we could see out the back of the clubhouse right now, it has transformed the back of our clubhouse. From a golfing perspective, anybody that comes here says our arrival sequence on the golf course, putting green, first tees, it's one of the best in the area. And what we've done from a social aspect, the fire pits, new Adirondack Hill, which is now twice the size, which I've been here a couple of evenings this year, and I am shocked how many people are able to get on that area all at one time. So I'm glad it's getting good use, but we're so happy that project is so impactful to our club, and it's getting great use. The putting green is a little tender still. It's a brand new green. We'll have to aerate it a few times. It will be fine, but it's working. What we were trying to achieve, we achieved. One of the other projects we're doing is down on the driving range. This project was kind of a free hit kind of thing because the long range plan had some money that was going to be used to export soil from our site. And rather than pay someone to remove the soil, we spent a little less money and reused the soil on site and got more for our money, essentially. So the driving range has got a little bit of a facelift, new target green at the front, no more bunker, more short targets because you don't have much over 15 or 20 yards at our chipping green. The tee will be extended, and there will be a fairway bunker installed in the tee. So I know a lot of people want to hit fairway shots. We tried to incorporate it into our design when we first built the driving range in 2014, but we've been able to do it now. So there will be a fairway bunker that you can hit out of and hit out onto the driving range. Short target shots as if you're hitting onto a green, or long shots out into the fairway. That project will probably get wrapped up in somewhat the same time frame as the tennis building. There's a little bit of groundwork to do around the back of the building, but it's slowly coming together. So finally, the tree program. So if we can go to the next slide. Maybe we have to wait for there we go. The tree program. So we are going to plant some trees this winter. We've not planted any trees for a couple of years for various different reasons. I've already been to the tree farm. I have tagged numerous trees, different species, different sizes, and I'd encourage anybody to get involved in the Trees of Tribute tree program. We've already planted about, I think we're about 50 trees into that program. And I know I cut trees down quicker than I plant them, but it's but it's really important we continue this program. The book at the front of the clubhouse. So if anyone wants to plant a tree, come and contact me personally. Call me, email me, text me. We can go out on the golf course, find a location, find a species in a tree, and we will plant them this winter. So please contact me. I've tagged probably 15 trees that I need to find people who want to plant them. So that's it from me. Thank you, everyone. One more thing. I was with an agronomist today. We walked the golf course, and we always talk about filling divots and pitch marks and all that good stuff. The amount of divots that we create here at Westwood covers 23 acres of grass. So that's quite amazing considering we only have 21 acres of fairways. So we basically regrow the whole golf course every year. So fill your divots. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming tonight. I get a little nervous when I speak up here, so bear with me a little bit. So I'm the food and beverage director who takes care of all of the events here at the club. It's something that we're really proud of. I have an amazing team in the banquet department. We received a Wedding Wear Couple Choice Award, and that's based on reviews from people that have had their weddings here. So it's based on service, professionalism, responsiveness. And so it's really nice to have that because people look online, they see the reviews and they feel confident calling us to say, hey, I saw the great review, I'd love to come out and see the space. Once they see the club, they fall in love with it. So it's really amazing. Something that I stumbled across with Mike Moore is tax deductions for events. So I would definitely look into that. It was part of the COVID relief program. Some of it has changed a little bit, but it's still definitely items that you can use for holiday parties, which is coming up. Dining in the member dining areas, which is also part of it. Member sponsored events are really important for us because we want to make sure that we capture as much member revenue as we can. Brian's going to touch on this a little bit as well. Sorry, I don't know why I'm so nervous. Our events are amazing here. We have so many wonderful events. I've had a lot of member weddings here. I've had golf outings with a lot of you, a lot of different events that I've worked with everyone. So it's been an honor and continues to be an honor for me to be here with you guys. So whether it's going to be a wedding, or our mitzvah, holiday parties, our terrace that's opening up is going to be amazing. I've already got bookings for that. People see it and their eyes open up so wide. So it's exciting to see all the fun things we're going to be doing out there. Fine. Thanks.
She's so humble and so incredible at what she does. So Janie, we're so appreciative for you, and again, weathering this insane storm. All of the member events that we were able to host throughout that time have been spectacular. We're excited to celebrate a lot more of those and to move out onto this new event terrace for even more fun. But Janie mentioned this real quickly. I would just say as a reminder, a 501c7 organization, we are restricted in the amount of non-member revenue that can be hosted at the club. That's 15% of the prior year's total gross revenues. What that means is, as Janie mentioned, it's really important for us to host member-sponsored events. It drives revenue, drives gross revenue, but it also produces bottom line dollars for member sponsored events. So please, if you're thinking about the place for your next business meeting, corporate event, anniversary, weddings, gatherings, you can see it all behind us, but JD's the best in the business. She's going to take better care of you than you can find anywhere else here, supporting your home club, and wait till you get out on this event terrace. So really appreciate your support there. So here, next, I'm going to invite out Mr. Amir Radfar, good friend and wine expertise.
Good evening, everybody. Ooh, that was nice. Hope everyone's doing well over here. Just want to say thank you again for having me up here tonight to talk about some wonderful things that's been happening in the member dining world. But I always start off with culture and team, so I just wanted to briefly go over some of the wonderful leaders that we have part of us right now and some of the new recruitments that we're looking for. But the legendary Tom Upthegrove, one of our dining managers, can't thank you for being my right-hand man. Jessica LaRosa, who's brand new to our team, is going to oversee the beverage program and inventory management and beverage purchasing. And then we are also looking for 2 new manager roles. One will be an Adirondack manager to oversee the lower level operations. And the new simulator lounge coming in place that we're really excited for. And also a new Westwood wine song to help oversee the new wine room and the wine club program and help it grow. So we're excited for these roles and can't thank my staff and team more than anything out there. While saying thank you, I also couldn't be more proud to work with the Amazing House Committee and 2 awesome leaders, Mr. Mike Magnotti and Danny Hughes. Please, everybody, thank you so much for being strong ambassadors that we have supporting us on our growth and future and improvements that we're doing. So thank you to the House Committee members and everyone helping us out. We'll briefly talk about some of the capital improvements that really allowed us to excel. But the new pantry kitchen downstairs provided us a new, more consistent experience for our members, being able to have more fast, efficient, and a limited menu and a new branding opportunity. The new, more ornate pizza oven out there, which has been a huge hit. I think I was looking at the numbers, and it was a little over 1,600 pizzas since we had that coming out, which was a lot of pizza. But also the new commercial grade smoker, which has been a huge hit. But the biggest part too, something that just on ambiance scale looked absolutely phenomenal. The new fire pits for those awesome evenings, and the flattening of the Adirondack Hill, being able to almost quadruple our Adirondack furniture and expansion and capacity for down there, which has been filled on those beautiful days. So couldn't be more proud of some of the stuff that we had. 2 things I was really proud of too that I wanted to share briefly also was a big impact that we had at Westwood Recharge. Really gave us the ability to revamp ourselves. And one of the biggest things was partnering with new local vendors and premium quality vendors themselves. Chef and myself and Jamie and the team took a lot of time to research the market, to find the capacity that's out there, and build partnerships with stuff that we're proud of to present to the members of Westwood and brand ourselves in a different way and opportunity. So these are some of the ones I just wanted to share with you that we had. But also part of the product part too, it's not just the recharge was just for product and quality that we had out there. It was also for team building. It was also for recruitment and talent acquisition. So that was one thing I wanted to share too with the Westwood Recharge program. Most important part was recruiting and finding the right people on our team. We really take pride in our culture when we drive on a daily basis. So that was one of our huge factors in recharging ourselves as a leader to making sure we're finding the right people to drive our vision. Most importantly, teaching them the 3 pillars of service that we truly are culture to and abide by, but the recognition, the quality, the speed of service, and embracing them in a culture that helps them deliver to our members on a daily basis. Something that we're really proud of, and I just wanted to show you it was a big topic for us with a lot of our happy staff members out there. So with all these wonderful things that were kind of going on throughout an awesome year, but this is a chart to really break down some of the successes we've had. Versing it toward the 2019 pre-COVID time, increased pretty much total sales by 25%. Pre-COVID time out there, a la carte sales increasing by $250,000. And one of the biggest factors, which is just something I really love, but the wine club, something that's just pure value for the members to enjoy. But wine club exceeding over $500,000 in 2019 in growth, with 185 active wine club members and over 60 wine club members on the wait list. That's just pure value for the club, and that's awesome. Can't tell you how excited we are again for the future. And some of the two renderings that we have, our new wine room and new simulator lounge coming downstairs. I just wanted to showcase these renderings, and we are truly thrilled what we're going to be able to accomplish down there and showcase. Last but not least, we're thrilled with what we've been able to accomplish in our dining outlets and in our a la carte service. But more importantly, one of the biggest things we're going to be sharing, we're not going to be able to improve, we're not going to be able to get better, we're not going to be able to grow without feedback from our members. And that's one of the biggest things I take in is feedback that we have. So we are going to be sending out tomorrow, actually, a food and beverage survey. And it's a global survey. It takes about 5 to 7 minutes. I really want to encourage the members to get involved and engaged on taking the survey to help us support. We would love to hear about the things that we do great at. We'd love to hear the things that you love to experience on a daily basis at the clubs. And we'd also love to hear about areas of improvement and opportunity for us. But this is kind of going to establish our foundation for growth and to become better on a daily basis. So I really wanted to encourage that and share that this evening. But we have an awesome rest of the year for us, and next year coming in too. So thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Ashley. I run the kids club here, if you don't know me. This year, really excited. We finally beat our deficit. I have never been in the positive here at the end of the year ever. So that was something we didn't think that would happen like this fast. Last year was a little crazy with COVID. We were able to partner with a program called Little Scholars, and we ran a learning lab. We had about 14 kids in there all year, so it's pretty good. This year, we were only allowed to do 2 camps because of construction, but we still had like 60 kids a week in it for 6 weeks. So next year, when the new kids club's open, we'll probably have twice that amount. So it's going to be exciting. And we just got creative with Scott and created a fake wall in the rec room to make 2 areas for the kids club so that you guys could still use us during construction and COVID. And then we're just really excited about the new space. They've got a lot of work done there already. It's about 4 times as big as the old one, and it has windows. So we're really excited to get there, and yeah, so that's all. Thank you for coming.
Good evening, everybody. They don't, at least in this case, they didn't slide the most dynamic orator into the final slot this evening. However, the good news is I will be brief. I'm going to stick pretty close to my notes, but I want to thank the board, members of Westwood. As you all know, Westwood is going through a very exciting change at this time. In the 5 years I've been employed, the club has seen many projects come to fruition, and no project has been more impressive than the current long-range plan. Expansion of the clubhouse facilities and racket facilities. It's a thrilling time to be here at Westwood, and I am honored to be here. Thank you. While I take pride in doing the little things that keep this club functioning day to day, whether that pertains to housekeeping, building maintenance, communications, or pool operations, to name a few, I realize that I need to adapt as our club changes and grows. As the AGM, I plan on readjusting my priorities so I may assist Mr. Stone with capital projects, club culture, and if possible, remove some of the day-to-day tasks from his plate so he may focus on the bigger picture. To be successful, I will need to delegate more responsibility to my staff, who have shown more and more that they are up for the challenge. In order to build on our premier status in the Mid-Atlantic, we must always be improving our current footprint with upgrades that ensure our employees are well taken care of, and our members and guests step foot in a clean, safe club where they can relax and enjoy the camaraderie of others. Just this year, we've seen many projects completed with several more in the pipeline. Earlier this year, we rolled out our new app, which has been very well received, and we recently obtained board approval for a video surveillance upgrade. And just last month, we installed 4 new HVAC units that service this ballroom. Our clubhouse has also seen many improvements with the recent refresh of the women's bathroom in the lobby and new floor in the pub. And we must not forget about our valuable employees that are now getting upgraded in the locker rooms, bathrooms, and their lounge area in the back. In this very difficult environment, one of my initiatives next year will be staff retention. As far as communications, We produced a comprehensive survey earlier this year, and we're very pleased with over 400 responses. Based on that survey, we have started producing the Westwood View newsletter in-house and now focus more on a streamlined communication plan with targeted emails and more efficient use of our app and push notifications. We will continue to survey our members and lean on committees for their valuable input and direction in the future. Speaking of committees, I have sat on several at various clubs, and what sets Westwood apart from others is the passion and healthy participation from the Westwood members who volunteer their time and knowledge each year. Having members who believe in the staff and a shared vision of the future will always keep us ahead of the curve. I'd like to show my appreciation to all committee members and board chairs who participated in the pool tennis and fitness committee and IT communication committees this year. Special thanks to Mr. Scott Melville and Mr. Bill Doyle for chairing these committees. And I encourage all members of the club to participate and join a committee in 2022. And finally, thanks to all the members who continue to believe that Westwood is truly a unique club with passionate members, great employees, and an even greater future. That is it. Thank you.
Eric doesn't get 1/10 of his due at this club, and so easily the most unsung hero is my assistant general manager, and I see the nods coming from our fellow department heads because they know this to be true. And so, Eric, I sincerely appreciate everything you do for me and for all of you. Thank you, my friend. Awesome. Along those lines, one of our favorite traditions is our team is in our weekly department head meetings to establish nominees for Employee of the Month and name them throughout the year. Many of those nominations come from your emails or recommendations or comments to our team. So please, nothing is more inspiring. Look, this is a brutal, brutal hiring market and nowhere more than hospitality. And so when we want to recruit, hire, train, but most importantly, retain awesome team members who provide you hospitality that makes you feel special, that makes you feel at home here at Westwood, help us recognize that. Send a quick email to myself, Amir, Janie, Chef, talking about an experience you had or an individual that took care of you that we can recognize. And this is where we do it in our Employees of the Month. So we recognize them with a gift card, a photo, put them in the Westwood View. Val Franchel, there's Val. Val has established a web bulletin. It's an internal employee monthly production like the Westwood View, but for our staff, it's unbelievable. It's like 6-8 pages of fun content and great information for our team members, and we feature these individuals there as well. So Val, thank you for all of your energy and efforts. Another behind the scenes hero. One individual that's on this list that I also want to recognize tonight, and then we're going to wrap things up here with some information, some Q&A, but Crystal Woods, one of the newest members of our team. It's a crazy story that Crystal and I worked briefly together at Club Corps when she came to help me out at River Creek after we had made a change in our controller. As it turns out, Mike and I were also making a change in the front office and needed support in accounts payable. And Crystal had worked with Mike 10 years ago in South Carolina. It was an unbelievable connection. But anyway, Crystal put together this entire presentation tonight and does way more things like that than she should that are completely out of her specific job responsibility. But Crystal, thank you so much. Crystal was recognized back in August here. But next up, it's really an honor to recognize two individuals who are about to get embarrassed, who don't know why they're here. But we also recognize Employees of the Year, who are nominees from the Employees of the Month. And these two individuals have the best attitude I've ever seen of any person I've ever worked with at any club I've ever been at. Carla Olgan, can you come up, Carla? Carla has never once stopped smiling in the 2.5 years that I've known her, and it is so infectious to all of your teammates. I hope you know what an impact you have on this club, and certainly an unsung hero to some extent, but not tonight. We're so thankful for you. To Carlos, I would say a very similar thing. Carlos Portillo. You'll see Carlos throughout the dining room doing just about anything you ever think you could possibly need to ensure a great experience. Carlos, so thankful and appreciative of everything you do. So we've got some gift cards for you all here. You get me something nice whenever it's convenient for you. Thank you all so much. Amazing team that we have at this club. I mentioned getting back to 250 employees. Well, that's two of the best that we have right there. So congratulations. We're going to move forward here. We do want to do a little bit of Q&A if there are any questions from the room. And then we're going to get to the results of our election and our bylaws vote. So for any of the folks at home, you'll need to write a chat question into the Zoom. But while people have a chance to write a chat, are there any questions from those of you here in the ballroom tonight that we can answer? No. What can I do for you, Dr. Hans? Forever's a long time, but I like the sound of it. I'm so thankful to be at this club, and Dr. Hines, obviously an incredible partner of mine for the first full year as board president while I was here. And Westwood's a special place. I don't get, I guess, to address that very often in front of a big crowd and a big room of our incredible members, but people ask me all the time about what differentiates this club, or is it better, or how do you compare it to other clubs in the area, or where you've been in the past. The people here are spectacular, and the support you provide to us, the team that we've put together, this team of department heads that you got to hear from tonight. I've yammered on too long, but they were all very clear and concise. We've got an incredible team of people, an incredible membership, and I hope all of you continue to relish and enjoy what a special place this is. So thank you for letting me be a part of it. I don't see anything popping on the chat. Okay, well then, I do have one thing here from Mr. Reynolds before he comes up and reads the results. As is tradition here at the club, there's an emblem that you're going to wear on the chest of your jacket moving forward. President 2021 Westwood Country Club.
Right, so this is the last time I'll be in front of the podium. A couple of motions, I would say this, is that on the Westwood board, for members, keep it the same. So second is, contrary to popular belief, David does love trees. And for Jamie, based on the reaction, the First Lady of Westwood. And so, Amir, you missed one of the most important improvements, the transfusion machine at the house. So, I tell you what, Andy, I still remember several years ago, we were in front of a pretty contentious group, and they challenged this club about culture. And I hope each of you tonight, those of you on the Zoom, can see the caring, a family, and what this club, it is truly Westwood's time. So a big round of applause to Brian and to the whole team. So I have more gray hair than most everyone in this room. I'll say thank you to the past presidents. Many of you are in this room. Thank you for your support. We haven't always agreed. You've never been shy about your opinions. But I will say, I got a wonderful text today from Lynn Rhodes. She said, you know what we love about Westwood is we care. And volunteer leadership is a freaking big deal. And there's 6 candidates that are running for the board, 3 of which will not be elected. All 6 are friends of mine in one way or another. And I reached out to each of them, one, to say thank you for running. I've run, and I was not elected one term. Stacey and I lived through it, and I felt rejected. So to the 3 that will not be elected, unfortunately, I would say stay positive. This club is for you. You know, stay involved. It's a great club. There's 6 great candidates. So to the 3 that fall short, you know what? You're all great candidates, and I wish all 6 of you could be elected, but that's not the case. So let me just report on the bylaws amendment is approved by 96% approval for yes. Thank goodness.
Good job, Wallace. We're glad we're not gonna assess you guys $3.9 million. Just kidding. All right.
The winners, and we will meet for a brief board meeting shortly in the boardroom. Frank Walker, Paul Fico, Josh Mariza.
Maybe we could go.